Welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Partsim to start doing some laboratory exercises. So the first thing we need to do is find it. So we can find it quickly with Google. Then click on the first link. And you'll see options for sign up, log in, try it now. If you haven't been to this site before, then try signing up and go from there. I've already signed up, so I'm going to go to login. Login screen came up. I use a password manager, so it automatically filled the fields. Thus, I will be able to log in. So now I'm logged in to Partsim, and one of the things that you should do is explore the different pieces. You might want to look at examples and all of those sorts of things, and I will encourage you to look at the basic examples. But what I'm going to do is click on New Project. The system's loading, and it is now loaded, and you can see that it brings up a screen that allows me to select parts and to do different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select some generic parts. I'm just going to build a simple circuit, and we'll see how we can make that work. So if I go and click on generic parts, one of the things that we see are amplifiers. I don't want an amplifier, I don't want any inductors, but I do want some passive components. So I'll click and get some passive components. Start with a capacitor. I'll just drag it over and failed. Try again. So I've now got a capacitor. I'll also get a resistor. So I have a resistor. And that's probably all the passive components that I want. Next, what I'll do is I'll see what else is on the list. Sources. I probably would like a voltage source. So what I'll do is I'll take an AC voltage source, drag it over. And then finally, and this is something that's different from our diagrams and different from what you would do in a circuit board, I'm going to need some ground connections. And so I know that I can find those under ports. And you can see there's a ground earth in there, so I'll just drag that over. I know I'm actually going to need two of them, so I'll go ahead and grab two. Okay, so I've got all the pieces I'm going to use to build a circuit. So now I'll build the circuit. I'm going to start by having the voltage source here. I'm going to connect the resistor to it, but my resistor faces the wrong way. So I'm going to click on the resistor to select it. And then I can rotate that resistor just by clicking on R for rotate. So here we go. I just clicked on R and it rotated the resistor. So I'm going to put it where I want it in the circuit, about here. And then I'm going to take the capacitor and I'm going to place it here. Well, now what I will want to do is I want to wire up the circuit. Normally, we would just connect a wire from the bottom of the capacitor to the bottom of the voltage source, and we would ground those. In Partsim, what you do instead is you select a ground and place it at all the places you want to connect on that return line. So I'll put one here, I'll put one here. So now I've got the parts laid out the way I want them, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect up the circuit. So what that does, or in order to do that, I've got to go to the ends of the components and basically trace them up to where I want to join. So I'll select this, I'll move up, and now I'll move across because I'm up high enough. And I'll just let go when I reach the resistor, and I've built a connection. I'll start at the other end of the resistor, and I'll take that to the capacitor. You'll know you're not lined up if it wants to go down like that. So, well, I guess I'll connect the capacitor this way. Let's try again. So okay, I managed to make the connection. Now what I'll do is I'll connect the grounds. So we've connected that one. And I've connected that one. Now I'm going to leave that problem in. I could go back and reshoot this, but I want you to see that sometimes you're going to have that issue. But we've now built our circuit. We've got a voltage source, we've got a capacitor, we've got a connection. The grounds here are connected to each other, so I don't need a wire in there. Those are simply my grounds. I might want to take a look at the voltage though, so I'm going to select the voltage. It brings out a box. I don't want DC, I just want AC, so I'll uncheck the box for the DC. I might want a transient source, so I'll collect it, and I'm going to put a sine wave, select putting a sine wave in. Offset 1 is okay, amplitude is 1 is okay. I'm going to put a higher frequency in, let's say 10 kilohertz. And the delay, damping factor, I'll just leave those as they are. So I'll just confirm that we've got it in there. So now I've got a voltage source. And I've just got a drawing, but it's all connected together. So what I can do now is I can use an engine called Spice to actually run this circuit. So I'll click on Run. It'll give me some options. And what I'll want to do is select AC Analysis. So I'll select Run, and we'll see what happens. So it's running. It says simulation completed, and the results menu came up, and we saw what happened. We get, I didn't name the project, so it's unnamed, but we see we have both a magnitude plot for the signal, both input and output, and we have a phase plot. So that's a simple way of connecting a circuit and running some different analyses. So what I want you to do is I want you to go into Partsim, build different circuits, probably look at the examples first, but build some simple DC and AC circuits so you can get used to it. I'd build a simple resistor network, for instance, and just apply a DC voltage to it and use the probe and measure the voltages at different points. Build some simple AC circuits. I'd suggest doing a low-pass filter and a high-pass filter. Perhaps a differentiator and an integrator. Just test them out, run screens like this, do some screen captures so you have them, save your projects as you go. We'll be looking at more complicated circuits, but use this week to get yourself accustomed to using this simulation. I'll end it at this point, but I will mention that there is also a Partsim channel on YouTube. You can find it easily, just do the search, and it will give you more examples on how to do these things. But this is how to get started. But the best way to learn is by experimentation. So rather than showing you screenshots of everything, I'm going to say experiment on this, and the goal is by the time you come back from spring break, you're comfortable using this system, and that then we'll be able to do some operational amplifier circuits and see how they work in lieu of actually being able to do the experiments. And so I'll sign off here and say stay well and enjoy your spring break as much as you can. I'd advise you probably not to travel too far, but there's many things you can do locally that are fun things to do. So I'll see you on a video after spring break, which will be an interactive one. Have a good day.